Hello friends. Before starting the main topic of this video, first let us understand the basic difference between footing and foundation. Foundation is a lower portion of a building structure that transfers entire load of the building to the soil below. Whereas footing is a foundation that is constructed under the base of wall or column. Selection of suitable footing depends on many factors such as loads from building, depth of soil at which safe bearing strata exist, type of soil, type of superstructure, and type of structure in neighborhood, etc. Depending on the depth of soil in which the foundation is made, there are two types of foundations used in constructing buildings. One is shallow foundation and other is deep foundation. The term footing is generally used in conjunction with shallow foundations and not with deep foundations. Shallow foundations are used for small and light buildings. They are also known as spread footings or open footings. If the soil has adequate bearing capacity at reasonable depth, then shallow foundations are provided. In shallow foundations, there are four types. 1. Individual or isolated footing. 2. Combined footing. 3. Strip footing. And 4th, raft footing. Deep foundation. If the load to be supported is very high and soil is of low bearing capacity, then deep foundations are provided. Deep foundations are used for large structures. There are two main types of deep foundations. One is pile foundation and second is caissons foundation. Let us discuss types of shallow foundations one by one and then we will discuss the types of deep foundations. Number 1. Continuous wall footing, which is also known as strip footing or wall footing. The footing which supports a long masonry or RCC wall is known as continuous footing. In this type of footing, the width of footing is twice the width of wall that is rested on it. Sometimes it is even wider. Basically, it runs throughout the length of wall. If bearing capacity of soil is more, then width of strip footing will be lesser. This type of footing is generally used in load-bearing structures. Advantages of this type of footings are, these type of footings are easy to build. It doesn't require skilled laborers and expensive tools to construct this type of footing. And if we talk about disadvantages, then the durability of this type of footing is less when compared with other types of footings. Number 2. Isolated footing. This type of footing supports individual column, that's why it is called as isolated footing. If good soil is available, then these kind of footings are economical. The isolated footings essentially consist of a bottom slab. Generally, this type of footings are used when the soil bearing capacity is high, loads on footing are less, and columns of a building are not closely spaced. This kind of footings can be of three types, that is simple footing, sloped footing, and stepped footing. Simple footing is also called as pad footing, flat footing, or plain footing. You can see in these pictures, these kind of footings can be square, rectangular, or circular in shape, which are provided under each column independently. Stepped footing. This type of footings were constructed in olden days, now they are outdated. You can see in this picture, three concrete cross sections are stacked upon each other and it forms as steps. That's why it is called as stepped footing. Sloped footing. Sloped footings are also known as trapezoidal footings. They are designed and constructed with great care to see that the top slope of 45 degrees is maintained from all sides. When we compare trapezoidal footing with pad footing, you can see the concrete quantity required to construct trapezoidal footing is less. Hence we can save the cost of concrete and steel while constructing this type of footing. Number 3. Combined footing. A footing that supports two or more columns is known as combined footing. When columns are closely spaced, and in this scenario, if we try to construct individual footings, then footings of these two columns will overlap. So in this case, it is better to provide combined footing than isolated footing. When one column is close to property line or sewer pipe, the center of gravity of column will not coincide with footing. In such cases, it is necessary to provide combined footing with that of the adjacent internal column. The ultimate aim is to get uniform pressure distribution under the entire area of the footings. To achieve this, the center of gravity of footing area should coincide with the center of gravity of total loads of two or more columns. Combined footings are further classified into following types based on their shapes. Rectangular combined footing. The rectangular footing is provided when one of the projections of footing is restricted or the width of footing is restricted. Trapezoidal combined footing. The trapezoidal footing is provided when load of one column is much more than the load of other column. Strap beam combined footing. Strap beam type combined footing is used when one column is located on a property line, resulting in an eccentric load on a portion of footing. Therefore, in this type of footing, a beam is provided to the adjacent column footing to restrain the overturning effect. Number 4. Raft footing. The raft footing is also called as mat footing. If loads transmitted by the columns in a structure are heavy and the allowable soil pressure is small, then footing requires more area. So in order to spread the load over large area with less depth, we have to increase the footing area. And in this case, if we plan to go with individual footing, then footings will overlap with each other. So to avoid this, a common footing is provided which supports all the columns. Such kind of footing is called as raft footing. Raft footing is a combined footing that covers the entire area under a structure and supports all the columns. Raft footing is used to support storage equipments, silos, cooling towers, storage tanks, chimneys, various industrial structures and buildings with basements where continuous waterproofing is needed. We understood the types of shallow foundations. Now let us understand the types of deep foundations. Number 1. Pile foundation. Pile foundation is a long slender column made of steel or reinforced concrete or sometimes timber to support the structure and transfers the load at desired depth either by end bearing or skin friction. Pile foundation is used in following conditions: when the soil is very weak, when the groundwater table is high, when there is presence of expansive soil or black cotton soil, when structure is subjected to uplifting forces, or when there is a soil erosion. Caisson foundation. In this type of foundation, a prefabricated hollow box or cylinder is sunk into the ground to some desired depth and then filled with concrete to form a foundation. Caisson foundation is most often used in construction of bridge piers and other structures that require foundation beneath rivers and other bodies of water. So friends, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.